there's another article, and it's tough talking Clunie shakes up Saints. So this is Jim Clunie at St Mirren, and it said,
We stopped talking all right.
yeah, it says Jim Clunie is not a man to mince his words. The St Mirren players have been left in no doubt what he demands from them in every game. After a 1-0 loss to Partick Thistle, he said, If I see my players giving their all until the final whistle, I will be satisfied. We've been making chances, but not sticking them away. When you stop creating chances, you know you're in trouble. Now, Clunie led Saints into Europe for the first time in the UEFA Cup when they beat Elfsborg 2-1 in Sweden. On that game, Jim says, I don't normally single out individuals, but Jackie Copland and Doug Sumner were outstanding. I was particularly pleased how the team responded to letting in an early goal. The article also mentions the move of ex-St Mirren player Ian Monroe to Stoke City. He was on his way to sign for Alicante before it fell through. Peter Weir and Billy Abercrombie are also mentioned in the article as exciting talents in the Saints team. Now, as a wee spoiler, St Mirren finished this season fourth in the league on the same points as Rangers. Now, Jim Clunie was sacked in November 1980, so he was actually sacked the month that this magazine was published. After a 2-1 victory over Celtic at Celtic Park, Ricky McFarlane, the physio, took over. And apparently the reason for his sacking was allegedly that he had offended a director's wife on a flight home from St Etienne where he swore at her. Now, I don't know how much is true in that. You probably know a bit more about that than myself, Craig.
No, I don't actually. I don't know about that. I'm the first I've heard of that, but I know Jim Clunie,
Yeah.
and I don't know what club he was managing. Maybe it was Kilmarnock. The club he was managing in 1982 when the World Cup was in Spain. And I'll tell you why. Because the SFA or the SFL, one or other, I'm not sure what it was, the league or the Football Association, took all the managers free of charge to the World Cup. They took us to Spain. And Jim Clunie was next door to me. We were roomed alphabetically, and Jim was next door to me, right? But that maybe just by coincidence. I think he was either St Mirren or the Kilmarnock manager at the time. But anyway, the drill was that before we went out at night, this was when there wasn't a game on. The nights there wasn't a game. Before we went out at night, we met in a room on the ground floor, and it was Benny Rooney's room, and they called it Benny's bar because you took your own drink, right, to Benny's room and you put it in the what do you call it, the kitchen bit of the room. Benny had a lovely room, big room, and you'd walk in there at night and you would see bottles of this and bottles of that and bottles of the next thing. So Willie McLean was across the corridor from me, and Willie said, we'll have a bottle of white wine, right? We'll go easy. We'll have a white wine. And so I'll never forget this. I put the white wine into my bidet and put cold water in it to cool it because it was roasting hot. We're staying in Puerto Banús. Yeah, and I remember the Andalusia Hotel. I remember it vividly. And all the managers were there. And of course, the team, Jock Stein had the team and Jim McLean was with the team. So the rest of us, including Alec Ferguson, wasn't with the team at that time. And he was there and Archie Knox was there. So all the manager pals. Next door to me was Jim Clunie. So I put this bottle of wine, it was a litre bottle of wine, to do that. That's to do the two of us, McLean and myself. We'll have this white wine. And I put it in the bidet and I ran the bidet tap and I left the plug so that the water was running right through. You know, it wasn't very economical with regard to the water supply. But anyway, it was to keep it cool. And I ran it through. Now, obviously, the bottle must have dislodged and moved and jammed the plug hole. Aye. So then the water wasn't getting away, so it was coming over the side of over the side. And my room was right next door to Jim Clunie's. So, of course, I didn't know. We must have been away for a couple of hours, and this water would be running for a couple of hours. I'm admitting this, but I've never said this before. And the water's running over the bidet where it was cooling to keep it cool for the drinking at night in Benny's bar. And of course, we came up, and I couldn't believe I come up in the room. carpet. There was a carpet in a wee bit of the room, but it was, mainly the marble floors, and there was water everywhere. You were squelching through the water. And, well, I had forgotten who was next door, Jim Clunie. Well, the next minute, there's a knock at my door. Yeah, that one. I have never, ever had such a roasting of language in my life. And then he says, you're a skill teacher, an effing skill teacher. I just thought that, no brains, how the hell did... And I said, well, Jim, and I was trying to explain what I had done, and the bottle had dislodged. And so, well, I've had many a shuriken, many a blast from a manager and from a parent or from an adult. I have never had such a rollicking as I got from Jim. It was nothing to do with football. It was to do with the water had got through the wall into his room, and he was squelching about in his room at the side of his bed. So I wasn't too popular with Jim Clunie, but he always remembered that story, and he always said he cooling any bottles of wine recently. I said, well, I haven't got a bidet to cool them in. Anyway, so that's nothing to do with football, but the man was a warrior, and I was petrified. Willie McLean's a small fella, and I'm a small fella. He was blasting the two of us, a couple of idiots. Yeah, geez, so and so. Anyway, so I would imagine if he had to reprimand a player in his team when he was a manager, I think it would be a bit of a rollicking the player would get, because I got it from, not for football, but if it was affecting his living, I think it would have been even worse.
So basically what you're saying is you can believe that he swore at the director's wife?
Oh, I'm quite sure he could.